Hey everyone, this is Mir from Learn English with Mir. I welcome all of you in today's lesson. Well, before I proceed, I need your reflection regarding the previous lessons based on root words on my channel Learn English with Mir. If you do have watched these lectures, kindly provide feedback in the comment section. So, this is lecture number 8. I'm back with a new root, DIC and DICT, DICT, which means to say or to speak. So, without much ado, let's get started. So, the first word I've selected is dictionary. Now, I've seen that so many students mispronounce it saying dictionary. It's not dictionary, it's dictionary. Now let's break it down. So we have the root word dict, which means to say. Now let's look at the meaning of a dictionary. What is a dictionary? A reference book that gives information about words, meaning, pronunciation, origin of words, and usage of words. So whenever you refer a dictionary, it provides you information. It says or it speaks about what? Words and meanings, pronunciation, origin of words, and their usage. Alright? Let's move to the next. Predict. Alright? Predict. So let's break it down. We could break it down in two chunks. So pre is serving as a prefix in this word, and it means before. Now some example words for pre, like pre-primary, pre-planned, pre-departure, which means before. So the second, another chunk is dict, which is serving as a root, and that means to say. So when you predict, you actually say what will happen before it actually does. For example, earthquakes are extremely difficult to predict. Of course, with the advancement of technology, we are unable to predict earthquakes, right? So moving to the next. Contradict. Contradict. So let's break it down. The first chunk, contra, which is serving as a root, which means against. And the second root, dict, to say or to speak. So what it means when we say contradict, to speak against someone or something, to say the opposite of what someone else has said, is contradict, right? Example, the government's policies contradict with its practice. Alright? So it means that what the government says in terms of policy don't do in reality. So it means that the practice and the policies contradict with each other. They go against with each other. Right? So moving to the next. Dictate. Right? A very simple word, and I hope you remember dictate back in school, especially in your English class. Your English teacher might have dictated you something. Okay? So what it means, say words to another. To tell somebody what to do, especially in an annoying way. Let's look at example sentences. Don't try to dictate to children. They will obey you better if you ask them politely. The second sentence, some parents dictate their children in their daily life. So Now, what it means that they tell them all the time what to do. So that goes against their wishes, right? So dictating means to tell somebody what to do, right? You might have heard the phrase "Don't dictate me," right? I have I have the freedom to speak my mind. Okay, don't dictate me. Next, verdict. So this is a, a vocab from the legal background. All right. So what is meant by verdict? All right. So let's break it down. So we have the root word dict, which means to speak. So speaking of truth is verdict, an official decision made in a court of law, especially whether someone is guilty of a crime or not. So speaking truth is verdict. Example, the jury reached a unanimous verdict of not guilt. Now, for those who don't know about jury, jury means group of judges. So the group of judges have investigated and they have reached a unanimous verdict of not guilt. So verdict means speaking truth, alright, is verdict. Or finding the truth, alright. Next, indicate. So we could see that the root word dict is here. Now, when you indicate something, actually you say two words, or you show or you point out something. Okay? Example, the strong winds indicate that a storm is coming. Okay? So, indicate means to point out, to show, right? Or to say about something that's gonna happen, right? Next, dictator. So we could see the root word dictator, right? So what is the meaning of dictator? One who gets the final say in everything, gets to dictate his own terms of to everyone. So I guess you are familiar with the word dictator, right? And if you remember in the previous series of lectures, somewhere I talked about OR, ER, the performer of the action, okay? Right? So, sayer of rules is a dictator, right? So, can you look at the images and figure out what sense it makes to you, right? So, the example, I don't like my manager because he's a kind of a dictator. So, a dictator is someone who who doesn't want others to speak, so he dictates them, and what he says he considers should be the final say, right? Who don't listen to others, and he just says his own words, is a dictator, right? Okay, next, dictatorship. uh this word has linkage with the previous word we have discussed, dictator. So what is dictatorship? So we have the root word dict, so we could guess that somehow it's talking about to say something or to speak something, right? So uh, a country ruled by a dictator, a military dictator. So now what is dictatorship? That In a dictatorship, it's by the way, it's a type of government where a single person, that could be any person, military or king or whoever, right? So rules the country. So he dictates, as I mentioned in the previous word, that a dictator just go with his own say, is not willing to listen to other people, so he's not democratic, right? So in democracy, the government is formed by the will of people, by the choice of people, right? But in dictatorship, whoever dictates, I mean, rules by his own say, whatever he wishes, he does, right? So, example, the dictatorship of General Pervez Musharraf lasted for 9 years in Pakistan. So I hope you're familiar with this picture, General Pervez Musharraf. So oftenly he is labeled as a dictator, or his era is, labeled as an era of dictatorship in Pakistan that started from 1999 to 2008. Next, valedictorian, right? So let me clarify that this C here is silent, okay? It's valedictorian, not valedictorian, it's valedictorian. So if you are not familiar with this, with the meaning of this vocab, I will suggest you to link it with this picture and figure out what it could be. So let's use our linguistic knowledge. We have the root word dicture, so somehow it could be related to speaking, or to speak about something, to tell something, all right? So to say something. So a speech at the graduation ceremony, right? One who speaks at a farewell, so that is valedictorian. So, by the way, valedictorian refers to a person who speaks at a graduation ceremony, right? So it should be Liba, not Libya. So Liba made an outstanding speech at the graduation ceremony, right? Next, diction. So as we have the root word dict, so it could be related to say something or to speak something. Style of saying, speaking, words and phrases. So the way someone speaks forms his or her diction, right? So clarity of diction is very important for a public speaker. So now diction simply refers to the way a person speaks, all right? Pronouncing the word, the stress, the rhythm, the intonation, all right? So that is a diction. So moving to the next, dedicate, right? So I guess you are familiar with this word. What is dedicate and what is dedication? So often the word dedicate collocates with dedicating a song, all right, or dedicating something. So what is dedicate? To say for another. Now, authors dedicate their books for others, or to dedicate a song to someone. Now, when you dedicate, you actually say that something goes for someone, all right? So, let's look at this example. He dedicated his book to his beloved mother who passed away recently. Now, the book has been dedicated to the beloved mother who has recently passed away. So, whoever is he has said, or he told, that his book should be in the honor, memory of his beloved mother. Moving next. Malediction. All right, malediction. So we have two roots here. Mal. Okay, so mal means bad. So keep it in mind wherever mal as a prefix or as a root appears, it it means something bad. So we have two roots here, mal, bad, and dict, speak. To speak bad for someone is malediction, especially a prayers that harm will for someone. Now let's look at this example. The beggar was not allowed to enter the restaurant, so he left muttering malediction, right? So now in this scenario, we could understand that the poor beggar was not allowed to enter the restaurant. So as a result, he moved back muttering, okay, malediction. Malediction means that speaking evil or bad about someone. So that is malediction. So often this bad speaking could be in the form of prayers or bad wishes, right? So I guess we have one more. So the next is Daikum. All right, it's not Daikum, it's dictum, right? So what is dictum? A statement or well-known remark that expresses an important idea or rule. Okay, so a well-known remark, saying, statement. So that is dictum. Example: my 80-year-old grandmother believes she has stayed healthy by obeying the dictum of eating an apple a day. So now what is the saying here, the proverb here? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. So that's a well-known statement, all right? So a dictum is a statement or a well-known remark that expresses an important idea or rule. So we have the root word dict here, so that is referring to something, to tell something or to speak something. So there is another dictum, love is in the air. So this also a dictum, a saying, and you could mention it in the comment section if you do know any dictum. So the last word we have discussed. So let's move back quickly. So in today's lesson, we have thoroughly discussed the root word dict, which refers to say something or to speak something, right? So that's all for today's lesson. I hope this lesson might have been beneficial for you. So mention in the comment section about your learning. All right. So thank you very much.